Melanated Gentlemen podcast. I am Spencer, and I'm one of your hosts on this podcast that we do. And today, I am joined by the other two members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen who have come here to talk to you about Year of Our Lord 2023.
Yes, sir. This is Brandon.
And of course, I'm Jordan.
Now, before we discuss the things that have happened, the things that we have witnessed in this year, Jordan is going to tell you about a couple of things, because there are a couple of things you need to know that are very important to your life.
Yeah, so I mean, you've been around before. You know, our episodes drop on Monday, and if this is your first time, you check out every Monday. We drop a new episode every week, but also every week we also drop on Wednesdays Wrestling with Worldwide Willis. That is Brandon's wrestling podcast where he, reviews and talks about the latest and greatest things that's going on in the world of wrestling. So yeah, be sure and check that out every Wednesday. And Brandon, you've been doing a fantastic job. I've been checking them out. Even though I don't know wrestling, I really enjoyed that. I know I said it last week, but I really enjoyed that cut bench start one. That was a pretty good one.
Shout out Spencer.
Yeah, that was a good one. And so this Friday, actually, you can check out Spencer's DC animation with Spencer and friends with S. That is Spencer's DC review podcast where he reviews all of the latest and greatest animated movies from DC Comics. So Spencer, what is on the movie bracket? Not bracket, but what's on the movie list this go around?
Friday, we will be discussing Justice League Thrones of Atlantis.
So Thrones of Atlantis, that's also a good one. If you are into the Justice League and you're into Aquaman, that's definitely a good one to check out. And of course, HBO Max has them all. I believe Hulu probably has them, and that might be it. Maybe
Netflix is
being on Max.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix is getting animation though. I think about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you got Max, go check out Thrones of Atlantis. You can even go buy the DVD, and then be sure and check that review. Also, don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service that you use. And also, hit us up on all the social sites. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, or X, and we're on Instagram, and that is at the League of Melanated Gentlemen Podcast. Be sure and come through and give us a join, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff that all the social media people say. So that is, I believe that's everything.
Okay. In the last episode of Dragon Ball Z, we discussed the good things, the things that we enjoyed, the things that we liked, the things that we appreciated as far as media released in the year that we have lived through. Today, however, we will be discussing the bad, the things that didn't quite do it. Now, there are hits and misses and everything. We've talked about the hits. We got to talk about the misses. Now, it may be a situation where, not the worst thing that we've seen, but not what we wanted. Or it may, in fact, have been the worst thing we've seen. Now, last time we did categories. We split it out into, sections and all that. I don't need to do that today. We're just going to go back and forth about things that we were like, wasn't it? So, Jordan, we'll start with you today. What is something that just, didn't do it for you?
Yeah, so I mean, if you listen to last year's episode where we kind of talk about the things we're looking forward to in 2023, at 2022 at the time, you would have known that Transformers was on my list. And I have to say, after watching the movie this year, seeing it in theaters once, and then I saw it again when it finally dropped the streaming, and I must say, this was a very disappointing movie, in my opinion. The main actor, light-skinned dude, I always forget his name, but he plays the same character, in my opinion. Some dude from New York wearing Jordans.
Anthony Ramos.
Yes.
Anthony Ramos.
To me, he plays the same character every time I see him. A dude from New York wearing Jordans. And he played the exact same character in this movie. we talked about it, we reviewed it, we didn't see the beast that much. Like it's crazy. Like for a movie to be titled Rise of the Beast, we only got to see what Air Ray. We never even got to see Air Razor transform. We saw Optimus Primal transform, but we never saw Rhinox even talk. We never even saw Cheetor talk. It's like, why was they even in the movie?
Right.
Like it was kind of pointless for them to be in the movie if they weren't going to do anything. The story, in my opinion, was pretty lackluster, and for them to use like one of the biggest threats to the Transformer universe in Unicron is like, yo, like he looked good, but I'm like, yo, you still wasted him. Like there's a better, superior movie out there, which is the Transformers animated movie,
Mm-hmm.
who they do a better job of Unicron, in my opinion. And yeah, Transformers for me, it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. As we talked about, like we were really excited about this one, especially with like Bumblebee is one of my favorites, and I thought, okay, they're gonna ride the momentum of that. Obviously, it's not the same director. It's a new director. It was a black guy. I was like, okay, I'm rooting for this. But yeah, it seemed like it didn't even understand like the '90s show Beast Wars. Like it didn't understand any of that and how excited people were. Like they leaned a little too much on Optimus Prime and a little bit too much on that side of it. When it's like, no, we came here to see the Beast. Like, yeah, Optimus Prime obviously should be a part of it, but like you Jordan always talks about, like the human part of it, that was a little too much involved.
They need to take
Like
the humans out, man.
yeah, like we didn't need all as much as we got from them, and yeah, it just felt like the Beast was there to sell toys, but didn't actually like they had no character. They, you know what I
No,
mean, very little speaking parts. Like they transformed maybe twice, right? Like yeah, it just
yeah,
didn't.
Rhinox and Cheetor transformed once,
Yeah,
and they
once.
neither one of them even had speaking line. Cheetor had one speaking line where he
Right,
said like three words. Other than that, he didn't
right.
say anything else.
Yeah, it was honestly it felt like it was just to get us to go and just to sell toys, but they didn't actually have any plans for the Beast Wars. Like this was just a stop on the Transformers journey. Next movie's gonna be about something different. Beasts aren't even gonna be involved. It was just like a huge, huge disappointment.
Agreed. I will say, one thing I did like about it, the villain, Scourge, like
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Scourge was a problem,
yeah.
but other than that, very disappointing. And this is from somebody who's not even like I remember the Michael Bay explosion Transformers movies, but that's about my extent of knowledge with Transformers. But yes, I was mostly disappointed by the misleading of the name of the film. Like there was no rising of beasts in this
No,
movie. Like it was Pete Davidson making jokes
right.
and
Oh, I forgot about that part. Jeez.
yeah, it was Anthony Ramos being himself. It was
I didn't care
Dominique.
about the him between the little brother and him. Did not care about that relationship at all.
Yeah, like Scourge was good, but that was about the extent of the good in my opinion for that movie. Like yeah, not great, not good, not worth talking about. And we saw that I guess GI Joe is now like they're in the same
Oh yeah,
universe.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see
Didn't
what happens from that.
wasn't affected by that at all. Like I was like,
Right. Like that
I'm
didn't get me going at all.
yeah, I have no feelings about that at all. So sorry.
So kind of like we did last episode, we talked about the Rotten Tomatoes for these movies. So now there's been some time since we reviewed it and since we released. What do y'all think the scores are at?
40s,
I
maybe
think they're pretty
30s.
low. Yeah, I'd say 50s, 40s. I could see fans being like a 60 just because, it's
It's
definitely a
Transformers.
popcorn, yeah, popcorn eating movie.
Yeah, like there were some good action scenes in it, but yeah, like it needs to be 40s,
I,
30s.
I think all the normal people really enjoyed this movie because the audience score is at a 91, but the critic score is at a 52.
The
I'm sorry, a
audience has it as
90.
a 91.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think normal
How many?
people really over 5,000.
What?
It's
Yeah,
wild.
it's crazy.
Okay, these aren't true. Okay, like these are
That's what
just
I say.
the
I think normal people really enjoyed the movie, but us nerds
yeah.
was like, nah, this
Okay.
ain't it.
I mean, I'm not even a Transformers nerd, and it was not good. And I
Yeah,
like a lot of stuff.
It's true.
Like I'm pretty generous.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, this wasn't it. Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll go next. With no introduction or segue, Shazam 2, just really bad.
Yeah.
Like I so I said this in the review. It never felt like Billy and Shazam were the same person.
Right.
And there was not I don't know if I'm able to point to anything that was really good about this movie because the villains weren't good. I love Lucy Liu, I love Helen Mirren, but they just collected a check.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um like I like the Wonder Woman cameo. That was fine. But yeah, like I there was nothing good. There's nothing redeeming about this movie. Like I didn't like, and they tried to put in some emotional moments and they didn't work. Like they weren't good. This
Right.
movie tried to be, they tried to do funny, they tried to do comedy. It didn't work. It wasn't good. Taste the Rainbow. That's what we're doing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was terrible.
Like it
Yeah.
just I'm having trouble finding positives
Right.
about this movie. And it's not that I thought it was going to be spectacular, but the first Shazam was pretty good. It was a solid movie.
Yep.
It stayed, kind of contained, but yeah, this movie just it was bad. Like really bad. I remember Brandon posted in our group which was worse, Black Adam or Shazam 2. And that was a conversation I don't know why we needed to have because while Black Adam was not bad, this movie was bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I
Shazam
agree.
2 was a bad movie. And I understand why James Gunn very specifically did not talk about it because he didn't want himself attached to it or connected to it one bit. Like
Iota. Yeah.
anytime he would talk about the future before this movie came out, he'd skip right over that bitch. He'd be like, and
He,
Blue Beetle's gonna be great.
Yeah.
so yeah, he knew something we didn't know for sure.
It's true.
And we know now. Like I wouldn't put my name on that shit either.
Thanks. Facts. Yeah, it was. Yeah, like you said, the acting was bad. I feel like Shazam. The thing that makes Shazam as a character, what loses me, and you all know how I feel about when there's
A mantle.
19. Yeah, there's 19 niggas that's all the same. Like that's what lost me in the first movie. And when I saw that was the crux, the foundation of this movie, I already was walking in like, all right, this is gonna be either mid or trash. And it delivered on the trash. Very little Billy Batson. He was the best part of the first movie. Uh, like as the younger version, and it was all over the place. Wasn't near as fun. The writing was terrible. The jokes, none of them hit. Yeah,
I
I
will say
just
The
I
CGI
did
dragon.
I
oh,
liked I liked Billy's parents.
oh
I don't even
yeah, I
remember
like
Bill's
the
parents.
family dynamic a
I
little
don't
bit.
even remember them. Oh, the Hawaiian dude and the woman.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I remember them now.
I like the family. And they tried to give you an emotional moment uh
yeah,
with Billy and his and the mom being like, you are our son. They try to do that whole thing, and like it just didn't hit like it was
nope.
supposed to. They tried, and
Right.
it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but everything around it was trash, and it just didn't. It didn't hit like it was supposed to. Jimon being in the movie, like the wizard.
Yeah.
eh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
he
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah. Oh,
he
that was
kind of
right.
he kind of slept through that role. Like he did what Samuel L. Jackson's been doing.
Bro,
Oh, don't
they
even
need to
don't
start
even get going.
taxing these niggas for doing these damn roles and just
Yeah, it's like
coasting.
if you do that bad, we need some of that money back. Like
Yeah,
there's no
man.
reason.
Shoot that back in the economy because that's a wasted money right there.
Yeah, they had us believing that these three older they were thousands of years old, right? Like
Yes,
the three women, yeah, they had us
the
believing that they was out here gonna be just beating Shazam ass like that. I'm like, yo, like what is going on now? Shazam ain't
Yeah,
that weak to be losing like that.
yeah,
yeah,
and the whole the girl liking Freddy, uh
oh
that
yeah,
Yeah, come on
that
now.
was a
That's a
problem. Like
Now let's say the roles were reversed.
yeah,
That would have been all on the news.
that's what made it okay was,
right,
and they addressed it because yeah, the mom was like, I don't like this.
right.
Yeah.
Like, you're 1,000 years old and he's 17.
Right.
That's it's kind of an issue, don't you think?
Yeah, my boy can't even buy cigarettes or alcohol yet, and you out here trying to love on this man.
Yeah, can't vote, but we about to. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
very much still in high school, but
I
he's got a pure heart.
Yeah.
I'm definitely yeah, but the last point of it, like I think they need to directors, producers need to be like, all right, like I get you're trying to get big names, but like the villains in this world, like you said, like this was a 2 day paycheck. They kept it moving. They on to their next role. They don't give a damn about what this movie does. They got paid. And it's like they acted as such. And it's like, bro, why are you? You could have just picked up a nigga, ran him off the street, maybe did better. Like we don't care.
Yeah, that's what the MCU does. Like if it's a villain role that we don't care about, they'll just pull somebody
Yeah,
random, uh, you know, like and then they'll kill them and keep it going.
yeah. It's like it's a waste of money. But no, this movie is awful. Might be the worst. Literally the worst.
I
So
think I think that I can say confidently it is the worst movie I saw this year.
Yeah.
what what do y'all think the audience and what do y'all think the tomato meter is?
12.
Damn.
I give it audience, I give it a 60. And then critic, I'm giving it like a 30s.
I'll tell you right now, the critics is a 49 and the audience is a 86.
These
What
I
is
think
niggas,
happening?
these
I think
niggas
a
eating up
lot of
with
normal
effort.
people are going to go see these movies and they really enjoy it.
But
I'm
it
being
was
honest.
I don't even know if children would have enjoyed this movie. Like I guess there were some
It's
things
rough
that
out here.
kids may have liked, but like people just happy to get out the house, I guess.
Apparently, we desperate, man. I'm like, God, dog.
Because what is happening right now?
But yet,
This
we're
is
giving MCU movies 70s and 60s. I'm like, what is you watching? Like, nothing MCU is as bad as this.
That's
Like,
a good debate. In this current phase, has there anything been worse than Shazam 2?
movie
no,
wise. I don't think so. Show
Eternals or
wise,
Shazam?
oh god,
Eternals.
I'd rather watch the Eternals.
That is tough. I'll probably go because Eternals is beautiful. At the end of the day,
It
Eternals is a
is
beautiful
Yes,
movie,
good
but this didn't
actors
have any of that.
who actually
Yeah,
did well acting. It's just, just a weird story that didn't execute well. But this was like totally separated from and Eternals was by itself. It was an OG. This one is second one. They had a lot to play with.
that's a good
yeah.
point too.
And they were coming off of a pretty successful like the first Shazam,
It
not
was.
not bad.
I had a good time.
Yeah, pretty good. Like I enjoyed watching it whenever I watched it to prepare for the second one.
Ooh, random question. Shazam or Blue Beetle?
Oh, Blue Beetle.
The
Oh
first
wait,
Shazam?
the first Shazam.
First Shazam.
Blue Beetle still.
Yeah, I really enjoy Blue Beetle. I would go Blue Beetle.
I go slightly. I'll go Blue Beetle. The first Shazam I do enjoy, but I guess I just like the character Blue Beetle, so I'm probably biased. But
Well, I mean, and again, there were things in that movie that I really enjoyed.
yeah, and the family dynamic was 10 times better.
As far as, I mean, while we're talking about it, Blue Beetle or Captain Marvel 2, or the Marvels. I'm sorry.
I would go Blue Beetle.
Yeesh. I'll go Blue Beetle. It's tough.
I too would go Blue Beetle.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the family dynamic of Blue Beetle. I enjoyed the CGI and I enjoyed the suit. Like I really enjoyed all that. I wasn't a big fan of the grandma doing all the extra stuff that she was able to do. But
yeah, I liked grandma.
I really enjoyed it. Nah, she's
always
doing
power
too much
scaling.
now. No, yeah, no, she's doing too much. There's no way she's able to do all that.
You're a power scaling guy.
Brandon,
but no, that's a good choice. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. You guys talked about most of them. Are we still in movies or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Just throwing whatever hits you, whatever the Holy Spirit is.
Okay. Well, the Holy Spirit is leading me towards, since we talked about phoning it in, let's talk about Secret Invasion. That is by far one of the worst shows I've ever seen. It was awful. It didn't give you anything. It basically shit on everything you expect from a Secret Invasion storyline. The comic book version, right? The main actor phoned it in. The best part of to me, the best actor in it, they killed off, which was a Skrull guy.
Talos,
you know,
Talos.
Yeah.
Talos,
we had stupid ramifications we did not need with having Maria Hill die. We did not need that. Like you wasted the character you could have used moving forward. The villain, I thought the villain was solid, but like still, it was kind of, I don't know. This is what, if people are gonna shit on superhero stuff, this is the type of evidence they can bring to the table, and I can't defend it. I cannot defend this. If someone goes, this is why I hate superhero stuff, I'm like, all right, I can't fight you on that. Yeah, it's just like, it's awful. CGI is bad. I'm not even a CGI watcher like that. This was bad. This was like, clearly her arm is changing into some stuff, and it looked like a YouTube, fan-made movie. Like, now she's the most powerful thing in the universe, which is a complete joke. I mean,
the final fight was one of the worst I've seen.
Yes, it literally leaned into everything critics have said bad about MCU products. They leaned in fully, having a bad final episode where you have this big CGI fight with two creatures. They leaned into that 100%. It did not work at all. And then just, again, man, I'll leave it at this. Samuel Jackson, that was one of the worst performances I've seen him have. It was bad. Again, the Marvels got a little better, but it still was bad. And I'm just like, I think we got to move on. I think we got to move on. A different Nick Fury, or don't have Nick Fury involved. Something needs to happen because it's distracting, honestly, from the movie, how bad it is. So, but yeah, Secret Invasion, utter garbage, and a total disrespect to the comic book version of Secret Invasion.
I definitely agree that it's time for Samuel Jackson to go. I never thought I would be saying that, but it's time for him to go. Bring in white Nick Fury. We just need to go ahead.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be white. That's interesting there.
No, I'm done there. I'm done with Black Nick Fury. He didn't gave me the performance in Secret Invasion, and he gave me that trash ass performance in the Marvels. Bring in white Nick Fury.
No more niggas.
Redo it. Yeah, no more niggas.
No diversity, baby.
Yeah, bring in white Nick Fury. They was doing good in the beginning. Y'all remember how good
Nick
Fury was
cooking
in Winter Soldier?
Bro, I don't. Goodness. After the pandemic, I don't know what the hell this thing been on, but it's been.
Bro, he's trying to get his money. He getting older. So, you know, he trying to make sure his kids and grandkids is good. So he
I
should get
gotta
that money.
I gotta go back and watch some recent Samuel L. Jackson movies and just see if like, okay, there's a clear you're mailing it in, or if this is just you on the back end, you know?
Yeah. Nah, I need white Nick Fury. Go ahead and bring him in. It's crazy.
Black girl
The
magic.
Oh, come on now. Yeah. That
um
was tough.
yeah, Secret Invasion, for me, it was more disappointing than just terrible. Yes, it was bad, but I was really excited about this movie or this show like doing well and giving us some actual like good Disney Plus TV show content from the MCU just because
Yeah.
of the storyline. Like we could have seen so much like uh scroll infiltration, mistrust being built, a lot of, scrolls like it was poorly done.
Yeah.
And like, we walked out with some questions. Yeah, the fact that Gaia is now just the strongest person ever is absurd.
Yeah. Rhodey. Like it just had like it had results from it that was like this show doesn't deserve to touch the rest of the MCU or affect the history of the MCU. Like this show is bad. And like something this bad should not have ramifications of me watching Iron Man 2 and seeing Rhodey or watching Avengers and seeing, you know what I mean? Like, or like, it's just, it didn't deserve to actually touch and affect like Maria Hill. We don't get her anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This show didn't deserve that at all.
And that's the thing, like this show is assuming that this is actually gonna, be maintained. We see that the president of the United States has waged war against Skrulls pretty much.
Right.
So if but then in the very next movie that we see
I
Nick
was here to
Fury
say that.
in, Skrulls are very specifically brought to Earth.
That's what I was about to say too. Like that's ridiculous. Like everything that happened in Secret Invasion was completely pointless. None of it. They didn't even mention any of it in the Marvels. Like not even mentioning Gaia. Like how come Nick Fury wasn't like, oh man, we're having problems with this scroll lady. Oh, Captain Marvel, we don't really need you. Spectrum, we don't really need you. I got this girl over here that can transform to you plus 10 more other people. What do I need you for? Let me call Gaia. Like
But that's the thing, Guy's
Gaia could
not
have handled
working for
everything.
Nick Fury anymore. She's working for Olivia Colman, or working
If she
with Olivia
knew
Colman.
that the galaxy or her world that she is stranded on, that's supposed to be her safe world, I'm sure 100% she would have helped out.
Oh yeah, like I'm sure that
Probably so.
in that situation, yeah. But
So I'm like, yeah, we have a scroll who's taken a Kree person taking our son. Your sworn enemy is taking our son, and you're the most powerful person in the galaxy. You gonna let that happen to the planet that you residing on? Ain't no way.
so yeah, I don't. I Brandon, I agree. I don't like that this exists in this
Right.
universe. Like it's not good. And a lot of I mean, it checks a lot of the like MCU boxes that
Right.
don't necessarily need to be checked. Like we killed the villain. Um Gravik could have continued to be a very compelling
You
problem
really could.
for the
Yeah.
rest of the MCU. Yeah, like he's like that dude is he was threatening and he was
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't yeah. It was just not good. And I just it's particularly egregious because the source material is really good. And we have seen it done well with Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
the animated show Earth's Mightiest Heroes did a really good Secret Invasion arc in it. So if you want to see a better version of it, you can go watch that show because that's a much better version of that.
Right.
So I just because the source material is so good and this was so bad, it's particularly disappointing.
Yeah.
Like if y'all were gonna fuck up a story, it shouldn't have been one that was this good, this
This was a
loved.
layup.
And then
Yeah.
with a really good Easter egg, on the Easter egg, in credit. Like, y'all put that amazing in credit scene. Oh, wait. Oh, shit, I'm tripping, bro. I'm out here thinking about
Yeah.
the Marvels.
Yeah.
Bro, I got so mad. I was thinking about both movies combined just now.
I got so mad.
I was just thinking about both of them combined. That's crazy. But yeah, Secret Invasion, bro. That was a big miss. There was no really big secrets in there. They could have gave us so many good surprise characters that we didn't know was going to be scrolls.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like I tried to make it interesting and being like, "Oh, this person could be as what if this?" Yeah, like that. But there was none of that. Like
Yeah.
Rhodey was a scroll, and nobody was surprised.
Best part of
Yeah.
this show was old girl. Um, shoot, she was like the English lady, like the
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Olivia
like the
Colman.
MI6 lady.
yeah, yeah. She was the
Yeah,
best part of the
Olivia
entire
Colman was
series.
cooking in this show.
She really was.
I will give it
That's
that.
somebody who showed up for work every day. I give her that.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
deserved that check.
Olivia Colman
Yeah.
was absolutely working.
Yeah.
And so was Talos when he was in it. So
Yeah.
I loved every time Olivia Colman was on screen. It was great.
Yeah, I was like, we need more. We can route. We can keep Nick Fury over there. Let's just follow her.
Yeah, let's see. Well, yeah, what she got going on?
Yeah, she was like good and bad. You know.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like she was a good guy, but was willing to step over lines.
Yeah, she's willing to catch a body if she needs to.
Yeah, because she absolutely. There was a guy like nobody else could get him to talk, and she was like, "No, I got it."
Yeah, don't worry about
Yeah, and dude started singing immediately.
it.
And she was like, "You're an alien, so I'm not violating any human rights. So, how about you tell me what the fuck I need to know?" So yeah, she did not. She was so good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, that was.
My my next one is, I think this was another movie I think I talked about. Looking forward to 2023. The trailer to this is why I tried to stick to one trailer. And I mean, at this point, that one trailer, deceived me. And this movie is 65. So this is the movie that was about Adam Driver's character getting he was an alien that knows English and looks human, but he's from another planet, comes to Earth 65 million years ago, and he gets stranded on Earth, and he has to survive with prehistoric dinosaurs. I think I've told this before. When I was a kid, Jurassic Park really inspired me. I love dinosaurs ever since that movie. I used to want to be a paleontologist. So if you can give me a really good show or a movie with dinosaurs in it, honestly, you give me any dinosaurs, like I'm in it. That's probably why I like Godzilla so much too. But give me dinosaurs in a movie, give me dinosaurs in a show, give me dinosaurs in a video game. Like, you have me in.
Right.
So I was really disappointed I didn't get to see this in theaters because I was really looking forward to it. So when it finally dropped on Netflix, I was like, "Yo, I'm about to sit down and watch this. I'm about to have a really good time." When I told you I came out that thing so pissed, I was like, "Yo, what just happened? This movie was terrible. Like, it was so bad. The acting was bad. The story was bad. The characters was bad. Just everything was just bad about the movie. And I'm just like, what? Why did they even make this movie? I'm like, and the trailer looked so good. Like this was one that I was pretty mad on.
That's why I don't watch
This is
trailers.
tough. I know. I got to stick to that one though. But this is the one that this, if I was gonna get out, this would have been the reason why. I was
I
very
like
disappointed with the
I
movie.
like Adam Driver too, so I was like, yeah, and I've seen it. It looks interesting, like for real. It does look like a movie. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, but I just never pulled the trigger. But now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Same.
No, this
Because
this
I
is
kept hearing
one.
about it, and yeah,
This is one you skip. This is that trickery right here. This is one you skip, or because I felt so defeated. Like after watching this, I was like, I cannot believe they just did this. And normally,
I
I'm a sucker for dinosaurs, and it just
right.
wasn't it.
I I had heard about it. You know, it's one of those movies where you hear about. Then when it come out, silence. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
that's not good.
100% what happened. Yeah, everybody that I normally talk to ask them because they are moviegoers. I'm like, you watch this? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I didn't watch it. I could never find anybody who watched it. So I was
yeah.
that person in my life who watched it. And
Mm,
yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it at all.
it's
I'm
tough.
gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now. The Rotten Tomato for the critics is a 34, and the audience is a 65.
Damn.
Like, yeah,
Not good.
and honestly, in my opinion, that 65 is kind of high because there ain't no way I
It's
thought this
called
was 60.
it's
I was
called
at
65.
45.
So
Oh my goodness. You think people did that on purpose? There's no way they was able to do that on purpose. That's crazy.
There's a concerted effort
That
that
is
did it.
yeah, that's a crazy coincidence. But yeah, I've been thinking about starting a podcast, another podcast about trailers, and I'm gonna definitely tell you if I do start this thing, this trailer will be on there as well. So
okay,
Interesting.
let's
Look
start
at
a
you.
yeah,
podcast.
Look at
yeah,
Oh,
you.
I'm really into this thing now. It's like I want to start comparing the trailer from what we see to the final product of what we see, and I'll kind of go about them. So we'll see if that happens. Life be
okay.
busy.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay.
We
So
know. Um,
all right,
As
Spencer.
people who run separate podcasts as well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
pretty
y'all
good
know them
idea.
problems, huh? My bad.
Yeah.
Um, so this next one wasn't a bad movie, but I was disappointed. I didn't walk out happy. Um, gonna have to stay with DC and just talk about the Flash.
That's one on my list.
Yep. And that's the thing. Again, not a terrible movie. There were some good things. There were some fun parts. There were some things I enjoyed in the movie. But with the source material and the far superior animated version, this was a bit
Mm.
disappointing. It didn't give us what we wanted. It left some. It did some things that were like, what the fuck are we doing?
All right.
Like there were some things that didn't make sense, and yeah, I was not really bothered by Ezra Miller's acting like that. I didn't really have issues with that. I think that Ezra
Same.
Miller uh did pretty all right in this movie. I think that involving Michael Keaton was nothing more than a nostalgia trap, a money grab. Like they were literally just trying to um play on people's, desire to have Michael Keaton back, and they just threw in the cameo with the music, and the you want to get nuts and all that. I love Zod. Like I love this universe's version of Zod. And so he was good. Supergirl, I don't really have feelings about her. Like
Same.
she existed in the movie.
All right.
Um but I'm just like, cool. You showed up to work. Uh Good attendance, I guess. But yeah, there were some CGI things that I was a little confused about. I was like, so did the budget run out?
Mhm.
But I think this movie went out of its way to try to capture some of the nostalgia things, and it just failed in other areas because I think they put so much effort into that specifically.
Right.
And I mean, I did enjoy the conversation that he did have with his mom.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was good.
yeah, but yeah, I again, there were things I liked. I didn't hate it. It was all right. It wasn't great. I may go as far as to call it. No, I don't think I can call it good. It was not bad though. Like
Right.
I'm pretty sure I gave it a 7 out the door, and I'm leaning more toward a 6. So not terrible, not the
Right.
worst thing I've seen, but highly disappointing. With what I wanted, with what I expected, and with what we could have been given.
Yeah, I totally agree. There was parts where you're like, man, y'all kind of get where y'all trying to go, but most of the movie was sort of like, all right, this is like we went through all this ride and we really didn't pay off, right? Like at the end, we didn't get what we thought we were going to get, a total reset. We didn't get that
That's my
really.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that was one of the more disappointing parts. It's like, wait, what? We went on this whole ride and we didn't even get a full reset, and you try to introduce a different version of Batman. It's just like, all right,
Yeah, like again, that like George Clooney nostalgia trap. That's all that was.
right. It was just like, I don't know. You could tell, James Gunn wasn't necessarily there when it was, cooking. They kind of got the back end of it, but yeah, I just Ezra Miller, cool. Not necessarily anyone. I don't want him as my Flash personally, but I didn't think it
Yeah, like
was.
no thanks.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst performance, but definitely not my Flash. Supergirl, definitely excited if they go a different direction. Especially, I'm reading the comic book now that it's totally different than what the characterization was in this. So, yeah, they need to just stick to the comic accurate version of Supergirl. But yeah, I'm good on this. So this was definitely was a huge disappointment. It's kind of I don't know, put a wrench in things as far as like the DC momentum of with the James Gunn and all that stuff.
And
That
this movie was always on the rocks, like
True.
with Ezra Miller's like real life stuff going on. Like
Right.
this movie was always in question as far as how it was going to go. But again, I figured with the source material, depending on how much they keep to that, it's going to be. But I mean, when I saw that it was PG-13, I was like, okay, there's going to be some stuff missing.
Right. Right.
I would say that was my biggest thing. I thought this movie was going to change the entire landscape of the DCEU.
Right.
Like once again, you gave it the title. Well, I guess it was just called The Flash, but they based it on one of the biggest books DC has ever put out in Flashpoint,
Right.
and that changed the entire universe. Why wouldn't the movie that the movie that the comics the movie that the comics based on was like, why wouldn't that do the same thing? And for me, that was the biggest disappointment. Like I said,
Yeah.
you guys mentioned the movie. It wasn't terrible. It was very fine. It was even
Mm-hmm.
a good time, but it should have accomplished way more than what it actually did.
Right. No, I totally agree. It was a huge disappointment. Didn't do the job we thought it was going to be. And yeah, it kind of, I don't want to say wasted a huge storyline, but in a way it did,
No,
Uh,
I think it did. It really did.
yeah. Because in the future, I mean, they'll probably find some way to use it again later on. But okay. For me, my last picks is the Continental.
Oh, I didn't even get to see this
Continental
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
in the John Wick universe just was a huge disappointment to me. I think they overthought it a bit. Like there was like, oh, okay, John Wick movies kind of simplified. Action is crazy. Let's try to make a super award-winning TV show. It's like, bro, hey, I just want to see fighting. Like, I just
yeah.
want to see,
Like know your lane.
yeah, I want to see top tier action. I don't want to see, dialogue for 90% of an episode. It's like, no, that's not why I'm here.
Not
There
what
was
y'all
some,
here for.
yeah, it's like there were some cool spots in episode one, but like after that, I'm just like, what are we? I get we got to build up the Continental, but I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I care, but honestly, I would rather see that in a John Wick movie than a dedicated show. You know?
Yeah, I think this was a poor attempt at lore
Mm-hmm.
in this universe because we again one of my favorite John Wick movie is the second movie because there's a lot of world building and a lot of lore built into that movie.
Right.
And so I thought that if we, dedicate some actual time to this world, that, it has the potential to be really good. But yeah, this was a disappointment. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. It didn't hit. It wasn't. It all the stuff that's good about John Wick. It never did.
Yeah. It didn't. I don't know. It just felt like it tried to dial it back a little bit, and it's like, nah, you have episodes now. Like, dial it up. Give us, even if you don't tell the greatest story, give us a bunch of action so we can at least say we
That's what
worth.
John
Was
Wick
worth
is.
the time.
Like John Wick, I'm not here for the story.
Right.
Like if you tell a good story, that's a plus, that's a bonus,
It's a
that's
bonus.
some icing. But
Yeah.
no, the cake, like the reason I'm here
Right.
is for the gun fu. Like I'm
Yeah.
here for choreography
Right.
and cinematography.
And it was set in the
That's
I think 60s or 70s.
I want to say
Let's
the
say
70s.
70s. Yeah, just the vibe was just off. It's like, all right, I didn't sign up to watch the 70s, you know, heist damn near movie show. Like I just that wasn't what I
that's
thought I was getting.
that's so disappointing because I remember us talking about the show and I was going to check it out. And then yeah, I know a couple of other people who also watched it and they were like, yeah, this ain't it. And these people I've talked to, these are just like normal people who are just like
Yeah,
they don't care about superhero stuff. They don't really care about movies, but they went to go see John Wick, and they do this with John Wick related. And it's
right,
like the show just wasn't good, and that's very disappointing to hear, honestly.
bro. Huge flop. I don't know why they thought this was great. I mean, apparently this like the people who made John Wick weren't involved necessarily in this, like directly.
Oh yeah, that'll do
So
it.
that kind of told me what I need to know because I feel like this was done before John Wick 4 even came out. As far as like production stuff, obviously came out after. But I'm just like, okay, all right. If he ain't involved, if the main cooks aren't involved, I'm good.
Yeah, no thanks. Because
Yeah,
I know that they know what they're doing. I've watched them do it.
yeah. They came up with the movie themselves, both of them. They said they met and they wrote on a napkin like what they want to do. You know what I mean? If them two made it in their brain, I don't want anybody else making that shit.
Yeah.
Man, that is disappointing to hear. Like that's
It
really
definitely
disappointing.
was. I thought I was gonna get 8 to 10 episodes of just whooping at. Like I was just like, oh, bet. Like get to see some different people, different fighting stuff. Nope.
Nope.
Just follow. What's the dude's name?
Winston.
Winston.
Winston. Yeah. It was like, okay. Don't care for. I mean, I don't care about his. I mean, he's cool in John Wick movies, but I don't need a show about him.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's not what I needed.
No. Give me a show about old dude.
The blind
The
dude?
blind dude.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kane.
Kane.
Yeah,
Kane.
Yeah.
give me a show about Kane's
Kane
whereabouts and
needs some
history.
time.
Yeah, like give me that.
And that's the thing. Kane needs some time with the people who made John Wick.
Or even a
Exactly.
young John Wick. Like you can give us a young John Wick, like a teenage John Wick. Like I'll even take that. Like where
Well,
he was meeting these people, like where you get to meet where he met Kane, where he met Winston, where he met all these other people, Lawrence Fishburne's character. Like I
Yeah.
would even take that.
see, I'm okay with John Wick's like growing up being in flashbacks, but like I want to see him like at work. Like I want to see when he became Baba
Yeah, that's what
Yaga.
I'm saying. Like,
Like yeah, I want
that's
to
what I want to
see
see too.
yeah,
Like,
like his cooking days.
it had to
Yeah.
be in his 20s. I feel like he was
Yeah,
like
like I want to
teenager to
see
20s. I feel like
yeah,
he was probably going in.
yeah, I want to see pre-retirement John Wick. And
Yeah.
yeah, like how he built all these relationships and what he spent his time doing. Yeah, like that's because I know that's gonna be what I need as far as like fight choreography and
Oh yeah.
giving me the John Wick things.
All right.
So yeah, I yeah, that's what we need, and I need movies for that. I don't want that in a show.
Yeah. They've clearly shown they can't make that happen. Peacock can't do
Uh,
it.
did we talk about the Flash Rotten Tomatoes? I just thought about that.
Oh
No,
no.
What do y'all think it is?
uh,
Had enough nostalgia to where it'll probably get a bump.
I think audience is probably 80s.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
I would say Critics is probably mid-high 60s. Because
It,
nostalgia don't do it for them. They don't care about that. But yeah, like the people, I'm gonna say the people have it in the 80s. Because, and especially based on how the other movies we've talked about have been ranked.
that's true.
These people just showing mercy.
But
So yeah, I'm gonna say 80s.
I'm gonna say critics low 60s. Also, critics are aware of what the main actor did too, so they don't bump him for that
Ooh,
probably.
yeah. I'm
And
gonna say low.
then
Yeah, I agree. Low 60s because I was thinking mid-high 60s, low 60s.
audience, the box office. This is one of the biggest box office disappointments ever. So like, I'm gonna go high 70s.
I think low
So
80s
we
because nostalgia gets a lot done.
Yeah,
so for the critics, they're sitting at a 63, and the audience is
nice.
at an 83. So you guys are on the mark when you said low 60s and low 80s.
Hmm.
Um,
Finally, because
but
I've been off today.
these are the ones
Yeah,
that don't count against us, though. We good though. I keep the records, but we're not keeping
yeah.
records on this one.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but also, yeah, like some of these terrible movies, like Rotten Tomatoes just has them doing like some we talked about today got 91. What are we doing?
yeah.
Right.
Don't worry, because this next movie that I'm going to bring up is going to be the lowest of them all so far. Um, I believe so. I alluded to it last week on last week's episode, and it's time for me to actually talk about it. This one is You People. So this one's starring, Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill, Laura London, and I
Oh,
can't remember the mother's name, but she's also pretty famous.
Nia Long, I think, was her mom in this movie.
Yeah, Neil Long. Yeah.
how you not know
So
me alone?
there's a bunch of people in this movie. There's also the white mom is in here too. She's also famous.
Uh,
I can't
Oh,
think of her name either.
Julia Louis Dreyfus is in it.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said last week, I watched it the first time. I'm not a rom com person at all. Like this is
that
probably
checks out.
one of like maybe three rom coms I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, don't do that, Brandon. Um, so I enjoyed it. Like Charlie Murphy, not Charlie Murphy. My bad. Rest in peace. Eddie Murphy had me laughing in the movie. But then, a few days later, I was sitting talking about it, thinking about it, and I was like, yo, actually thinking about it now, they had no chemistry in the movie at all. Jonah
Mm,
Hill and Laura London were two of the most awkward couples I've ever seen on TV. They had no chemistry. And then I found out that the kiss in the movie wasn't even a real kiss. They CGI'd the kissing. Like they did not really kiss. And I
wow.
was like, I was like, yo, why did they even do it? Why did they even make them kiss in the movie if they wasn't really gonna kiss?
Right.
Like it's the jokes by Eddie Murphy was good, in my opinion. The white parents, being oblivious to the black culture, that was funny. But the two leads themselves just wasn't it.
In my opinion, yeah, there was no chemistry between Jonah Hill and Lauren London, and it really felt like Jonah Hill was like, this is an excuse for me to, you know, be seen dating Lauren London. Like I think
Mm.
that they were like, who can we get to play this part? And I'm sure Jonah Hill was like, guys, hear me out.
Come on, guys.
Uh, but yeah, like the chemistry between them wasn't great. I also didn't like that Eddie Murphy was just a bunch of tired stereotypes. Like
Oh, that's also true.
that's what his character was just a bunch of because in the movie Eddie Murphy was pretty much a black Israelite. Like he was a
Yeah.
hotep. Um and that was, to be very specifically in stark contrast to Jonah Hill's not being black.
Right.
And yeah, they could have actually explored some stuff there, but I think they just took all of the things that they thought that was and just made Eddie Murphy do pretty much a caricature of it.
Mm.
And while I have seen how extreme some people can be.
Right.
It really just felt like mockery and insincerity.
Mm.
Like it felt like they leaned too far into the negatives that are associated with that, and it it almost felt disrespectful.
Mm.
And that's the
Mm.
thing, like I don't like I don't subscribe,
Right.
and it still bothered me.
I
And
haven't seen this one.
you don't need to.
It's rough. Yeah, I agree. You only do. But I
What?
will say, like, there was
There were
some
some
funny
funny
points.
moments. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was some funny moments in it. Julia Louis Dreyfus, she does good work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was disappointing. Because I think that they leaned too heavy into the stereotypes and a lot of the just assumed things that would bother people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, there was an opportunity to actually do something here and tell a more grounded, more realistic story. And I
Right.
just feel like the ball was dropped. So yeah, like pretty unimpressive.
Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, I don't know. It didn't seem. I don't want to say it didn't take itself seriously, but because there's like comedies that still take itself seriously.
I think it tried to take itself too seriously,
Okay.
and it just failed.
And yeah, I didn't know if I thought of chemistry right away, but I was just like, those two. Hmm. I haven't
Yes,
seen Jonah Hill in a rom com, and Lauren London. No offense to her. I don't know acting wise. Was she a solid performance? What was she at?
eh,
I honestly feel
I think
like
she slept through this movie.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like she didn't necessarily really want to be there, especially with like another guy. Because like I mean, obviously we know that she lost Nipsey Hussle, and so I feel like that could have played a factor into it. Like she doesn't want to look like she's
So,
with another man.
my thing is
Maybe
like
I don't know.
you're a professional. You signed up for the job. Like you're an actor. Like grow up a little bit. You don't sign up for a rom com. You know what I mean? Sign up for
I don't
fucking.
understand why they CGI the kiss though. Like that was I was lost when I found that out. I was like,
That's
why did they
weird.
even do it then?
That's a little weird to be honest.
I agree.
But you people, I'm gonna tell you right now, on the critic score, it got a 40% and the audience score got a 34%. So this is the first time we've seen that the audience got lower than the critics.
I'm honestly
Because
surprised the critics were that high.
I agree.
I know Black Twitter hated this movie,
Yeah, it was not good.
but
So
I didn't know if it was like one of those where it's overly critiqued and then regular folks liked it. I wasn't sure.
I'm honestly not
um
sure how anybody felt about it because I didn't really I hadn't really talked to anybody about it because after I saw it, I was like, yeah, okay.
I heard people just because I mean obviously big names associated with it, but nothing was positive.
And that's the thing, like I watched it because I figured Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy, that's probably going to be a funny film.
Right? Yeah,
And there were funny moments, but the movie wasn't funny.
yeah.
it's tough. That is
All
tough.
right. Spencer, you got anything else?
I do. I'm keeping it with DC. A
Man, DC just been breaking your heart this year, huh?
little bit. I watched Justice League War World with Larry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you know, I this was more of a disappointed. It wasn't necessarily that it was a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't what I wanted, and Mongol was the thing I was disappointed with the most. Like that was the least threatening Mongol I had ever seen. I was so like Mongol is supposed to be a fucking problem,
Mm-hmm.
and this Mongol was a bitch. And why would no? You don't do
Was a
that with
bitch.
Mongol. Like, I was so mad when I saw Mongol, when I heard Mongol's voice, like everything about, like, I was like, what are we doing? This Mongol is not threatening. This Mongol does not scare me. This Mongol is not going to beat anyone. This
Can you
Mongol
give
is a
people
waste of my time.
you can give people backstory on like who Mongol is or what he
Yeah,
usually is.
I don't even know who Mongol is.
Okay,
Oh wait, I think we might
Mongol.
have talked about him before, but
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead and tell me.
so Mongol is he's a DC villain, and he is imposing in the same way that Darkseid is.
Hmm.
So he's big and terrifying, and he's like this huge alien, and he is in control of this thing called War World, which can pretty much destroy anything. Um Mongol, he's got, a pretty standard package of abilities. Like, he's got, the superhuman strength, the durability, but he's somebody that, like, you need Superman to, like, fight with.
Yeah.
You can't just send anybody to fight Mongol. Like, Mongol is an issue. And I just don't like that this is the version of him that we got. We've seen better versions of Mongol, but yeah, he's supposed to be a much bigger problem than he was in this. I didn't like anything about how he was represented. It was not good. And the movie, we didn't even really see much of Warworld. Like, this movie showed us it played kind of like one of the DC showcases, where they would have like separate single individual movies,
Mm,
but it was all running in the same direction. So
gotcha.
we saw that, I guess the main premise was that Martian Manhunter, his powers were making the big three forget some stuff, because we see Wonder Woman, like, in the West, with Jonah Hex.
Hmm.
We see Batman kind of in the past with, like, in a dinosaur's age, and we see Superman in the 50s, not aware of the fact that he's an alien with powers. And we see, like, white Martians are a problem in this movie. But so there were some good things. It was animated well. I think the voice cast is pretty good. But yeah, I was disappointed by this movie. um it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to
Is this a
see.
newer one?
I
Newer
think it's
DC?
Yeah,
I think it's the newest one.
yeah.
Like, I think it's the most current one, and it's going to lead us into the Crisis on Infinite Earths that this animated set of movies is working toward. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I just yeah, I didn't like it.
Hmm. Well, check
That's
it out.
yeah,
I'll I'll
I remember
do
seeing a trailer for this.
I'll do an actual review of it on DC Animation with Spenser and Friends whenever we get to it.
Right.
So that's why I'm not doing too much right now.
Right.
But that's the gist of the movie, and it just wasn't what I wanted. Both Larry and I were like, is this what are we? Because whenever we saw Wonder Woman in the West, we were like, are we watching the right movie?
Right.
So yeah, it a bit disappointing, but I will do a more in-depth review when we get there. So
Gotcha.
know
uh,
that.
this one actually doesn't even have any Rotten Tomato scores, no audience score. There's 6 reviews for the critics. So I don't know if you necessarily care about it or not.
I don't.
Yeah.
So it's whatever. I don't even
Uh,
know what the critics think about it, because me not liking it wasn't bad. It wasn't what I wanted.
Right. Ugh, that's tough. Yeah, I need to watch some of the newer ones. I kind of stopped. I don't want to say I stopped, but I haven't seen much after the last universe stopped, other than like a few one-offs with like Constantine
Yeah.
and things of that nature.
And honestly, I'm gonna let the Tomorrowverse cook, but it
Yeah.
has not been. It's not as good as the DC animated movie universe so far.
Gotcha.
Like they still got they've still got time. Like they haven't done anything that's just like terrible, but
Mm,
the DC animated movie universe was just so good.
yeah. Very few
And
misses.
yeah, and this has not done that. So we're gonna see what happens because they can do a group movie well.
Yeah.
And Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's very involved.
Sure.
My understanding is that it is supposed to be split into 3 parts.
Mm,
So, um, again, if y'all stick with me, we'll talk about it, but it's going to take a minute before we get there.
right. Right. Okay. Um, last one I got. Really, I'll just kind of run through them quickly. Gotham Knights TV show, that was trash.
I didn't hear nobody
Um,
talk about that for sure.
Same. I have heard zero about it.
yeah, it wasn't good. Um, actually, it's funny because Titans got canceled, and Titans was actually starting to cook a little bit once Batman showed up. You know what I mean? And once we got Nightwing, we got Red Hood, we finally got to that point, right? But then it got canceled. And then Gotham Knights came out. This is kind of around the time the video game, maybe the video game came
Yeah.
out a little earlier.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And
I
yeah,
also
both.
didn't hear great things about the video game.
Yeah, I was gonna say both
Same.
got bad reviews.
That's terrible. That's 0 for
So,
2.
yeah. And I think this is also to tell people stop making more bat people or family. DC got a real family problem. You need to chill the hell out. Superman got like 16 different Superman. Batman got cousins. He got a black people with his face. Like,
Yeah, they made Tim Black.
yeah,
I've seen Tim Black in a few things.
I seen a new little kid running around with like a. He looked like he's in a Daredevil outfit, but he has a bat signal on his chest, and there's a new bat character. I'm like, golly, like so. Yeah, they need to relax. I think that's kind of what Gotham Knights is kind of a preview of that, but Gotham Knights was not good. Ant-Man 3, I mean, sort of a disappointment, right?
I don't know
It,
about sort
it,
of. It was
yeah, it was a disappointment. Yeah, Kang did his thing. Kang showed up to work.
they did.
Um, for the most part, I feel like it was a lot of randomness, but I kind of understood it. Kang I enjoyed, but the rest was pretty disappointing. Um,
And that's the thing. Like, if it was supposed to be kooky and weird and
yeah,
all that, they didn't do that enough. Because the
yeah,
only like MODOK, yes,
right.
kooky and weird.
MODOK was funny.
Yeah, like I enjoyed MODOK. I know
I
a
did
lot
too.
of people hated it, but
I did too.
I thought it was great.
Jordan, did you? Jordan, I can't remember. Did you not like
I think
MODOK?
Jordan hated it.
The show. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Well,
not the
No, I'm
show.
the
saying
show.
MODOK in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man 3.
Oh, I was thinking the show. Yeah, no, I wasn't feeling MODOK like that. Nah. I thought you were talking about the show. Nah, yeah, I
No.
wasn't feeling MODOK like that.
Um, but so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Kang. Well, again, that performance is really good. But other than that, I was kind of. I mean, Paul Rudd, I did enjoy. Like, I remember the scene where he's like crawling up against a bunch of like Ant-Man trying to get to that thing. That was a cool scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to save Cassie or whatever.
Yeah. So that was a good one. But overall, and I will say, Ant-Man always does a really good like visuals. Like I remember watching Ant-Man the first one, like the visuals of him
Yep.
growing smaller, all the action scenes, great.
Because
But
that's the only good thing about the second one was some of the action scenes, like
yeah,
the
it's
fight
facts.
in the kitchen,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Or the
then the fight
bathtub.
like on the road.
yep,
Uh, yeah, like that was the. I agree. The visuals are good in Ant-Man.
yeah. So Ant-Man 3, Gotham Knights. We'll say as a Power Rangers fan, the final season of Power Rangers, Cosmic Fury, disappointment. We didn't even get like a huge penultimate every Ranger show. We didn't even get that. Like it was just sort of like I don't know. They kind of treated it like it was a normal season. It's like, nigga, this is the last one. Like this is the last
So wait,
one.
what's going to happen with it now?
Now they're talking about creating, obviously, potentially an animated show. They might make it another like kid show, kid friendly show, kind of like what it is now. but it's a bunch of mights and maybes. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
Hasbro or the whatever company bought Power Rangers, the IP has now been sold to somebody else. So now we don't know if the same plans before are gonna apply now. We aren't sure. I think we were told that it will still apply. And the producer and all that stuff is still the same, but they're gonna make a movie, hopefully animated, and hopefully it's still a TV show. I feel like we should always have a running live action TV show. If people be pushing for animation, I'm like, hey, that's great. But y'all know me, I don't need the gore. Some people be like, I want Jason slicing people up and killing people. I'm like, bro, hey, like let's relax. Like that's not why we got in the Power Rangers. We didn't get into Power Rangers because they was killing people. You know what I'm saying? So I think people just need to relax a little bit. Like, yeah, we should like the animation should be a little older. Like we want to follow Rangers when they're grown up. And that's what I have to educate people on. 90% of the seasons of Power Rangers, they are not in high school. Most of the time they're in college. They're grown people. You know what I mean? They're professionals. It's just the Mighty Morphin one. So everybody thinks, oh, all these niggas in high school. Like, no. Most of them are past high school. They're not in high school. So I'm hoping we get a more mature, like in relationships, dealing with the family, all that stuff. But the last season was not that great.
Brennan, next year there's a show coming out. There's an anime coming out. Let me not even say show. There's an anime coming out. I really want you to watch this because I really want to get your take on it. It's called Go Go Loser Ranger. And this is like a darker take on the Power Rangers universe. And I'm telling you right now, people are anticipating it to be really good.
Go
Yeah,
go
you
loser
have to check it
Ranger?
out. Yeah, there's 5 Rangers. I don't want to tell you the premise of the story because then you're gonna be
Oh, okay, I
judging
see.
it. But yeah, Go Go Loser Ranger. It's I think it's gonna be a big one, and a lot of people are gonna check that one out.
I might. I mean, I'll give it a try. If it's one of those just all right, let's just do the story, but then make them evil type of shit. I'm not into those, but I will try.
Okay. All right. I got one more. It's a show. Shadow and Bone season 2 dropped this year on Netflix. And the first season was all right. It was kind of dread to get through, but it was all right. I stuck it
Mm-hmm.
out. But Shadow and Bone season 2, the CGI was this was bad. This is like some Tubi level bad. Like it was real bad. The story is real bad. I don't know what's going on with the CGI story of this year, but it's just not where it need to be.
Yeah,
So yeah, Shadow and Bone season 2 on Netflix was not it, and I'm done with Shadow and Bone now. I'm completely done watching it, giving up.
that's tough.
Yeah, you got anything else, Spencer?
No, I guess it's a good thing that I'm able to say I didn't watch just a whole bunch of terrible shit this year. Like
Yeah,
most of what I watched was either all right or pretty good. But yeah, I mean, we for the sake of the podcast, there were some things that we, you know, put up with because
Yeah,
a lot of the things that we named that were terrible were reviewed,
that's a fact.
and
That is a
you know,
fact.
and again, Jordan, you expressed that a trailer got you,
yeah.
so
It
it
definitely
absolutely
got me.
happens. So yeah, I'm happy to say that there wasn't just a bunch of just really bad shit that I watched. There, of course, like I said, there were some things that like who, why did what were we doing? But
Right.
for the most part, I think I watched more good than bad this year.
Same for
That's
me.
a good point. That's a good point. I did want to point out there's some stuff I missed from our last podcast that I was annoyed that I missed.
Okay.
There's a show on Disney Channel called Kif. Hilarious. It's hilarious, bro. I watched it with my daughter. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I
Pretty
know that
funny.
show. Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
show.
it's pretty good. So if you ever, always for the parents out there, if you're always looking for stuff, or if you just like animation in general, really good show. Really funny. Um, and then comic book wise, I will say one of the disappointments I've had is the Hulk series. Donny Gates, man, that's my guy. But this Hulk series, that Hulk series was garbage. That was the worst thing I've seen him write.
I,
So
I feel you on that. I feel the same way about X-Men. This year was the first time I've dropped the X-Men comic book series in a long time.
yeah,
I'm just waiting for them
yeah.
to get over this Krakoa era, and I'm done with it.
I will say one of the best things I read. I'm not really a Batman guy. I usually don't like his comic books. They're usually a little, you know, intense or a little like I would say under Tom King. Tom King writes him like freaking Shakespeare. But the Nightwing comic was really fun. It was kind of more of a lighter version of the Batman universe. Like he had people showing up, the Flash, all kind of random people showing up. It was really good. I didn't get to finish the whole thing, but I've read enough to where it's pretty good. Um, and Tom King's Wonder Woman's been really good so far. So, yeah, but like Spencer said, thankfully I chose for my mental health, I chose some more better things than I did worse things. So I didn't have to sit through too many bad things.
There was also one thing I forgot to mention in the last episode that was pretty good. Not spectacular, but honestly surprisingly good under the circumstances. So Hulu revived Futurama, and the newest season of Futurama came out this year. And I think this is either Futurama's second or third time being revived.
Gotcha.
Because they were on Fox. I think they got canceled, and then the reruns did so well that they brought it back, and then they may have been canceled again and then brought back. But Futurama is good shit. And I feel like the Simpsons best writers are on Futurama usually.
Okay.
And the fact that this show was canceled and then brought back, my hopes weren't like super high because usually that doesn't go well. There aren't just a bunch of reboots that are super great. It's really easy to mess that up. That's often just a nostalgia trap and a money grab, and just pulling at people's desire to see the things they used to love. But it was pretty good.
Huh?
It was I'd say at the same quality. Like, it hasn't dropped in quality.
Gotcha.
So I mean, Futurama is a great show, and I enjoyed this one. In that first episode, they were coming after themselves. Like, it was but yeah, it was pretty funny. Solid go to sleep show, solid show to just have on in the background, solid show to sit down and actually watch.
Man.
Like, you can do what you need to with Futurama, but I really appreciate the fact that it didn't have like a hard decline, because that's usually what happens in this situation.
Right. That's true. That's true. Last thing I'll say, Dark Side of the Ring, season 4 this year.
I didn't know they were still making those.
Yeah. They did one on Bam Bam Bigelow. Fire, bro. It was so good. I was just talking about how Bam Bam like started in WWE. Vince believed him in it at first, but then he kind of fell off. Went over to ECW, had great matches with Taz and Dreamer and all of them. Then went to WCW and had a great run with Diamond Dallas Page. So yeah, it was a really good one. They have a bunch of other good ones, but yeah.
Bam Bam Bigelow was way more athletic than he had business being.
Yeah, that's kind of what they was talking about. Like, he played football as a kid. He was way more athletic than most kids. He didn't look it even back then, but he was just a natural athlete from day one. Yeah.
If you know what Bam Bam Bigelow looks like, then you'd be surprised at how athletic he was.
Yeah, he reminds me. There's a guy named right now called Bronson Reed. That's who Bam Bam reminds me of right now. But yeah, yeah,
Bronson Reed. That's a big old boy.
Yeah, Bronson Reed. Yeah, we saw him live. Yeah. That's a big guy right there. Yeah. He made Gunther look not small, but but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. There was unfortunately a lot of bad stuff too, but
Yeah. And there's a lot of there are a lot of things that I heard were bad that I never got around to. So that kind of worked out because I was thinking about seeing what Velma was talking about.
I saw that on the
Yeah.
list of a lot of worsts.
Same.
Yeah, I thought about seeing what it was talking about, and it sounds like I'm glad I didn't because
Yeah.
I heard not one single good thing that like from people who watched it from like and another thing they again with this rebooting old shit um Good Burger 2
Oh,
Oh, I'm
like
I
not
ain't
watching
seen
it.
it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about watching it and I had somebody say, "Hey, for everybody who can hear me, I went ahead and watched it for you. You don't need to waste your time."
Bro, I heard it belongs on like Tubi, Freeform.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
that's
I
like,
told this friend, I was like, "Thank you for your sacrifice." Because yeah, like I was thinking about it just to support Keenan and Kel, if nothing else.
I think they think this stuff's gonna hit, and it's like, bro, it's been way too long.
They have to think it's gonna hit. Like there's no other reason to be doing it.
Like Good Burger, yeah, it was a good
That's the thing.
time.
I feel like
I-
Kel wasn't doing anything, but Keenan has got stuff going on.
yeah,
Yeah. Which
facts,
is crazy. Kel, I feel like Kel definitely needed more than Keenan did.
same.
Yeah,
And
like I
it's just
feel like
like,
yeah, Keenan probably just did Kel a favor.
yeah, probably. It's just like, bro, it was a good time during the time.
It
Everybody
was a good
remembers
time
the
then.
orange cassette, you know, the orange, you know what I mean? But nobody asked for that.
As like somebody may have asked for it. Again, one thing about millennials is we will like the shit we like forever.
True,
But
but
I am just wanting new shit. Like we don't have to bring back old shit. We don't have to use old properties to tell different stories. We can just do new things with new people and we don't have to, bring shit back all the time. Sometimes it works, but it feels like more often than not it doesn't work. Like I
yeah,
can't think of very many recent reboots or redos or reimaginings that have been just really good. And it's a situation where a lot of times, yes, you waited too long. We didn't need to do that because I think there should be a time limit on like a true sequel. Like if
Yeah,
it's
you just gotta go and reboot after a certain
like
time.
if it's been 20 years, you don't need to make a sequel.
Yeah,
yeah,
reboot that thing.
Yeah. And again, that's the thing. Sometimes I don't want to reboot because it's like this story doesn't have to be attached to this property. Like
Nah, you
those
gotta
aren't
reboot it and
related,
remake
they're
it.
completely independent. Like I don't like that you have a story that you want to tell and you just slap something that exists on it to get people in the door.
yeah. I'm not as against it, but it definitely is. It's getting a little extra. Like I saw Beverly Hills Cop is putting another one out. It was like, all right, bro, it's been 30 years. Like, what are we, 40
Speaking
years?
speaking of sequels, I just saw the sequel today for Kung Fu Panda 4. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah,
look whack. I'm like, yo, it look whack to me. I'm like, y'all
bro,
need to
they
go and
was
get us up now.
killing Aquafina because she apparently
Yeah.
it was a whole thing on Twitter. It was like, bro, when animators can't find Chris Pratt or Aquafina, they don't know what to do. I was dying.
Well, and I
Uh,
feel like
Yeah, they need to go and give it up.
Kung Fu Panda isn't old enough where I'd have a problem with that. Like I
But
feel
I'm saying
like
like they're making multiple sequels. They need to give it up.
I think like
Like
the latest Kung
let
Fu
it
Panda
die.
was 20 what 15, 16.
yeah, I don't really
Yeah.
mind it because
Yeah, like that
they have a series. It
yeah,
has
like that was recent enough where I'm not bothered by it. But
You gotta
and
let this
like
one die.
when I
Let it go.
watched like the Kung Fu Pandas are good. Like I enjoy them anyway. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
but it
remember
comes
the
to a
show
point
very
where they
well.
start to making too many, and I feel like you gotta let it go. Like at some point, I mean, we know they're coming out with Frozen 3, but at some point, if they come around like Frozen 5 and 6, I'm like, yo, we gotta let these kids rest. Like, there's too many of them.
They good. I can't.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
the thing.
trash, then
If it's good, then whatever. Like,
right.
We gonna see. I believe this one did not look that well to me.
It's like Godzilla. Like, hey man, we get it. It's a big ass monster. Let's wrap it up.
Well, see,
yeah,
that's
that's
the difference, though.
Godzilla's one
That's
of
That's the
those
big
things
difference,
that
though.
yeah, they keep
There's the legendary, and then we got the
Yeah.
Toho. You know, those are two different ones. You
Hey
can
man,
wrap the legendary one up right now,
I'm
but
just saying.
the Toho one, keep it rolling.
I'm just saying. Like, we get it.
Godzilla is
Is
one of the few things that has put out pretty good stuff related to it, like somewhat consistently. Like Godzilla doesn't just have an overwhelming number of misses with the number of items it's got.
You know what else people don't talk about enough? And I was thinking about this the other day, not to go on some random tangent, but we've gotten Godzilla origin story a ton of times, and we do not care. But we get superhero origins, Spider-Man, Batman, we get them all the time. We're like, okay, we get it. That's the origin. No one ever complains about the origin stories for Godzilla. Like,
But
yeah.
I was thinking about that. Like, minus
And I
one is
mean,
another origin story.
yeah, I guess I haven't seen them all, to be honest. I know the one I did see. I can't remember if it was an origin story or not, or just niggas just showed up. I don't remember.
I don't think
2014 was an origin story.
Mm.
Godzilla has an outwardly aggressive fan base in that way.
True. No, yeah, the comic nerds, we something else. You right.
Cause yeah, like
I'm actually.
I mean, like, that's the thing. Like there was if I have an issue with a Godzilla movie, it's that there's not enough Godzilla. Usually. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about these people. Where's Godzilla?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're to a point now to where we can be like, oh, okay, I can start a power. I mean, we can start, Homecoming. I didn't need to see Uncle Ben. I didn't need
Origin
to
story.
see,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. I didn't need to
And
see
that's
the spider bite.
the Batman. Like we didn't need like he
Yeah,
was already Batman. We didn't need to see his
right.
parents get murdered.
Yeah,
We
let's rock.
we saw him as an early like like he hadn't figured a lot of shit out yet.
Yeah,
He was still new to this. He was still hurt. Like he was still dealing with the trauma. He was not emotionally like available.
yeah,
We saw him still trying to grow. We saw a very early Batman, which, you know, we are used to seeing a Batman who's got his shit together already.
yeah. It's true.
So yeah. But yeah, with Godzilla, like in the movie with Bryan Cranston and
Yeah, the 2014 one.
yeah, that one. I was like, I want more Godzilla. Like that's what I needed. I need more
They did
Godzilla.
that. They did that to me though. They did that perfect. Like they kept teasing it, teasing it, teasing it, and then at the end you finally got to see them.
And when I
That's
did
I
get to
like
see
that.
him, I was like, see?
Right, that payoff. That payoff.
yeah,
Because that
I,
first atomic breath, like that
yeah,
very first time when he lit up from the bottom up, I was like, oh yeah.
yeah. That's that's the best Godzilla movie I've seen. I haven't seen them all. But I just again, like I loved, like you said, like it was slow. It was reveals to how big his ass was, but you didn't ever,
You're right.
you didn't see the full form. You were just seeing shit move or in
Yeah,
the
I just
mist
rewatched
or
it yesterday. Like they literally kept teasing it every single
yeah,
time, and you never got to fully see him until they finally revealed him, and they was like, "Holy crap!
That
Like this is
motherfucker was
Godzilla for real."
he was strong. Like he came out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
like he
That's
was
what I
built.
mean. Like,
He was almost built like a kangaroo. Like just
had that thick
yeah,
lower
just
half. Huh?
stout.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Are there any other movies or shows we want to mention that we were disappointed with this year, or we got them all out?
I think that
that's it,
covers it.
man. I will say there's a lot of stuff that came out like in the last week. Like, um, What's the one movie? Shit, with the mythology, Percy Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested in how that's going to be. That's 2023. Preacher,
Yeah.
like reach like that stuff. I'm interested. You know, if it's gonna disappoint or
We
not.
still
But
got What If that comes out pretty soon.
that's true. Yep,
Um,
This episode comes out before Aquaman does.
that is also true.
that's true. Yeah.
So
See,
we still got
we'll
a ways
see.
to go, but we managed to get through the year, and so I'll say that if people out there, if you've seen some things that you thought were pretty bad or pretty disappointing this year, definitely let us know on any of the social media sites that I talked about before: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, X, like any of those. Let us know. Tell us how you feel about them, and if you agree with some of our picks, do you think you like those movies? Just let us know.
You didn't.
So yeah, I know they didn't, but they can let us know. But with that being said, we're never duplicated.
Always appreciate it.
And forever melanated.